All right. Well, I guess you haven't seen me on YouTube very much of late, but we got an unboxing today. This is Mark from Omega Games and Comics, and today we've got three unboxings for Signature Series books that came back over the course of the last month. So I waited to open them up, and I have not checked the grades online. However, there is going to be one big disappointment, which is really sad. I didn't find out about it, which is a book that I sent in, which was this one right here. So this is going to be Hellblazer number 27. I sent it in for the Neil Gaiman signature event, and unfortunately CCS refused to press it. So I really needed this book to get pressed. I should have done it myself, but I didn't start pressing anything until after I had sent these books in. So let's get to it. It's early November on a Saturday, so I thought, hey, you know what? It's a really nice day outside. Let's open these up and take a look. So Hellblazer 27, why would I send that one in? Well, it's a low print run book from the Hellblazer run, and it actually has 3 first appearances. So I thought it was a pretty good book to send in. There are others in retrospect, had I known that CCS wasn't going to press it, that I would have preferred to send in. Okay, that's the top of the book, so we'll put it over here. Again, love these boxes. Usually they'll ship 1 or 2 books back in them, so it's either going to be like something you send in for a signature event, or it's going to be like an express tier book, but they're great for shipping. All right, so let's see, top or bottom. That looks like the back. Now, I waited about 10 days for this one to come back before I did the unboxing, so I'm really, really hoping that there's no damage to the case. So, okay. So let's take a look at it. Get rid of some of the glare. So you can see that signed right up there. Now, I had originally thought that this book was probably going to, without a press, would be around a 7.5. Hopefully it's higher than that. Wow, it came back at 9.2. But you can definitely see where it would have benefited from a press. So it's really unfortunate that they didn't press it. But it is a 9.2. First appearance of Athena, Jacko, and Shona. Clive Barker's Nightbreed insert included, which is probably why they couldn't do the pressing on this. And I really wish I would have done it myself. I didn't expect it to get a 9.2 without a press, so really happy with that. You know, maybe it would have gotten a 9.4 with a press. Really nice book. All right, so next up are 2 books that I sent in for the Roy Thomas signing event. So one of them is Marvel Premiere number 15. So so that is, everyone should know, first appearance of Iron Fist. Having been a young kid in the 70s and being a huge fan of martial arts, which pretty much back then it was just Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee. I really gravitated towards more of the street level heroes like Daredevil and Iron Fist. So I became a big fan of Iron Fist and Shang-Chi, the Master of Kung Fu. So both of those titles I collected growing up, and I have complete runs of their original series. Now, this was a rather low grade Marvel Premiere 15, but it was the only one that I actually had. I've had it for, I want to say 30 years. So I guess the grade would come back between a 4.5 and a 6.0 after pressing. So, because again, it's low grade. It's not a really high grade book, and it did have obvious flaws. So the odds of it coming back higher than a 6.0 or even a 5.5 would have been a little outside the range of reality, in my opinion. But let's check it out. So Marvel Premiere number 15. You can see Roy Thomas signed right up there. Wow, we got a 6.5 after the pressing. Nice. So this is a book for my PC, not something I will be selling. Obviously, the pressing really did this book justice, so CCS did a pretty good job. Now, the back's really clean. It's really, really nice. I think the back presents probably a little bit better. Now, I could have prepped this book a little bit for the signing event, but I'm still really happy with it, and that's going to stay in my personal collection. Okay, so I don't know when this video is going to get posted. As an example of timing, this was signed back in August by Roy Thomas, so it was signed on August 24th. So we're in the first week of November. So it's been a little time has passed since he did that signing event. So we'll put that right there. Okay, and the last book. Now, the last book is the highest grade of this lot. It's also signed by Roy Thomas. And this book actually came back separately, even though both of these were submitted for Roy Thomas, because this one has a custom label. So this book comes from my PC, and it was originally graded a 9.0. And it is an X-Men number 73. Yeah, X-Men number 73 from 1971, which is when they were going through their reprint phase. So the X-Men they weren't producing new books because they were on the verge of canceling it. So I think issue 66 was the last new issue after Neil Adams had finished up his run. And then they went to reprints. It was either 66 or 67. So this book came into my possession early on in my collecting days. So I was a teenager when I got this book, and I bought it at a Comic-Con down in the Bay Area. I remember when I bought this book, the dealer had said, or the seller had said, that it was fairly high grade. So when I originally submitted it for grading, it was back in 2001. So it's been in my collection for almost 40 years. So I'm really excited that Roy Thomas signed this one. Okay, now it should have a date stamp on the cover, which I'll take a look. But again, he signed right up there. Now, because this was previously graded, it was in the slab, so I didn't get to choose where he signed it. And it came back a 9.2. So we got a little bit of a grade bump, which is nice, and it does have the custom label. Now, the weird thing is, the date stamp on the cover, he literally signed on top of that, which is weird that he did that. Yeah. Huh. So I'm going to look this book up and see what the grader notes were, because previously when it had been listed, yeah. So it's just strange that he signed right on top of the date stamp. But you can see that it has the custom label there. So this is going to stay in my PC. I'm glad it got a little bit of a grade bump from a 9.0 to a 9.2. I was definitely, I'm not going to say I was concerned that it wouldn't get a grade bump, but it was in the back of my mind that it might just come back a 9.0. But it is what it is. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me on this unboxing event. And again, collect what you love, read what you love, because life is way too short for any of us not to enjoy the time that we have. Thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe down below if you like. Really appreciate that.